Is Kajabi worth it? Hey, what is up, guys? It is Harrison Barron, the Millennial Entrepreneur, and in this video, like I said, we are going to figure out, is Kajabi worth it? Now, I will admit I have a ton of experience on Kajabi, but do I love it? I don't quite know. Now, I know if you've been watching this channel for a little while, you're probably like, Harrison, you say you love Kajabi, and that's true, I do love Kajabi, but there are some things that I really wish I could change. Part of the reason why I'm making this video, maybe somebody from Kajabi will watch it and be like, hey, we should implement this stuff. But otherwise, I want to expose you guys to Kajabi, what it looks like, what does the back end look like, and if you weren't to use Kajabi, what other platforms would I recommend to accomplish the same goal? Now, keep in mind what I just said, accomplish the same goal. This doesn't mean you're going to go out there and buy a million different products and services and really all that. I really want you to be able to replicate what Kajabi does in a variety of other different platforms. So I'm going to just kind of breeze through some of this stuff where I would normally go in much, much deeper, but I actually really want to compare, is Kajabi really worth it or is it not really worth it? So let's jump into the homepage here of Kajabi and actually do a deep dive into this. So Kajabi, if you don't know, it's a course building platform. So if you're an expert in something, you can teach that something, right? And when I say something, I literally mean something. The things that people have taught in this group are absolutely mind-blowing. When I say what they've taught, I mean I've seen carpenters, people teaching other people how to build a traveling school bus, welders, plumbers. You have coaches that are teaching their professions how to sell better, how to make courses better. I mean, literally anything you can think of is being sold on this platform. There are also some massive influencers that are also using this platform. Why? Because it's kind of an all-in-one platform, and that's where it probably brings it all together and why it's so appealing to so many people. So I've already gone through this several times here, but I just want to show you guys what it really looks like. So everything you need for your knowledge business all in one place. Now, there are several competitors to this. This is Kartra. You have Instapages. You have ClickFunnels, MailChimp, Samcart, WordPress, WooCommerce, Wix, Squarespace, but yeah, that's ActiveCampaign, that's Instapages. And, it kind of brings it all together and says, hey, Kajabi is the one happy medium of all of this. Now, this is slightly concerning to me. And now I'm taking off my, hey, creative influencer hat, and I'm putting on my agency owner hat. And every single time I see a software that tries to do everything, it doesn't quite hit the marks that it needs to be like, hey, we do everything, right? I would much rather be a trained assassin and know how to do that than be the jack of all trades that can do everything, right? No, I want something that is highly targeted for a lot of these different platforms. Now, it says that it replaces all of these, but it doesn't really replace all of these, and I'm going to share with you guys why in a few minutes. But this is what it's saying it replaces, right? It goes through all of this, and then it'll, they're constantly giving you a free trial. Heck, use my code down below, you save $14 if you choose to use it. And honestly, before I get too deep into this, I do want to say it is a great platform. I do really enjoy the platform. Is it a little more expensive than I think you should pay? Yes, but it does a lot of stuff inside of the website. So, and that's exactly what it is. It is a website, but it's also a place to host your products and a place to host your payments and analytics. And if you've made it this far, I actually want to share my opinions, and I will share them at the end, of if you fit a certain criteria, you need to not use Kajabi or use Kajabi just for one specific feature. You got to wait till the end, though, because I want to define that. I got to cover all this first before I define who is the best person to use Kajabi for. So you have beautiful emails, now faster than ever, right? The fastest way to create a fully integrated page, pipelines, right? And it's just telling you what it replaces, right? Lead pages, Instapages, ClickFunnels, Kartra, Infusionsoft. I mean, it's kind of funny Infusionsoft isn't Infusionsoft anymore, but that's okay. ConvertKit, Aweber, MailChimp. I mean, it's basically doing everything, right? It is literally the all-in-one platform, which is probably the most appealing. And they do give you a mobile app, so if you have a massive community, they can actually jump on the phone and watch your content anywhere and have to log in just like they would normally log into your website to see the content. And that's part of the whole shtick with this, is it works for everybody. So we're it just kind of talks about them, and I just want to go over like what's included. So it's really talking about what products that you could sell. It has a website builder built in. It accepts and processes payments, but it doesn't actually process the payments. It uses a platform called Stripe, which is super easy to set up. It will send emails out through here, and you can build email automations. You can build landing pages, although there's very limited functionality for a landing page, which I will cover. Pipelines. So a pipeline is just a prefabbed landing page to an email sequence to a sale per se. Then you have analytics, which the analytics are subpar at best. You have people and you have mobile. Now, I'm not going to show everything on my website on all of these just for the sole purpose of I don't want to share my customer information and my personal and sensitive data on there, but this is what is included on there. And then next is pricing. I will cover pricing before we get too deep into this, but you have your growth, right? This is the annual discount. If you do a monthly plan, you can do growth, basic, and pro. And then you have 3 products, 3 pipelines, 15 products, 15 pipelines, 100 products, 100 pipelines, unlimited landing pages on all of them, unlimited email marketing, 10,000 contacts, 10,000 active members, 1 website, 10 admin users, and then you get access to the good stuff. So really the main difference between these is you get to add a couple more products and a couple more pipelines, and then really what's important is you do get 24/7 chat support, advanced automations, ability to remove Kajabi branding, which is cool, but honestly, most people leave it on anyway. The affiliate program is probably the biggest bang for your buck out of all of this. And then the real benefit of the pro is you do get the code editor, so you could build your own pages if you really wanted to inside of here. Is it worth it? That's for you to figure out, right? But this is the pricing. Is it a bit more expensive than I'd like it to be? Yes. I think $200 is probably on the higher end of what I'd like to spend, especially, and keep this in mind, especially if you're somebody new to creating a course, right? If you're an expert in something, but you don't have a massive following, this is a massive step in potentially the wrong direction, right? You have 2 ways of growing traffic. It's typically organic or it's paid. And organic takes a long time, so you're going to be paying $200 a month for a long time, like I have, to start building. And that's what I'm doing. I'm building. I'm going the pure organic route. And then you have the flip side of things. Then you also have the ads, and if you can hook up with a Facebook ads assassin, right, who is going to absolutely blow it out of the water, I've seen people do some massive launches. So that's just something to keep in mind. Those are the 2 main ways to grow any business. Now, if you have a following and you just need a place to house all this, Kajabi is the greatest thing in the world. But if you don't, there's cheaper alternatives to do this, and I'll share my thought process as to why that is. But I'm going to just kind of give you guys a little bit of the back end here. So in here, this is what the back end of Kajabi would look like. You have your website. This is where you're going to build your landing pages. You have your blog, right? I've shown that. Your analytics. The analytics really aren't that great. They're actually, in my opinion, pretty poor for a website builder. Shopify, Wix, Squarespace all have way better analytics built in than Kajabi. Then you have your products. I can't click on products or sales because you guys will see all of my information here. But you could just create products. They come in kind of blocks. I'll show you guys the general idea of what they look like. Then you have your sales, you have your marketing, and then you have your people in your list, right? So anybody that's signed up for your list, it will be right there for you. And then you could customize this to the themes. They do give you some themes to look at, which are actually pretty decent themes. So the only thing that I don't like is you can't really like go through the whole website, but you have Kim, Streamline, Home, Carl, and these are just themes. These don't necessarily matter. You can literally swap these out. You can destroy everything and rebuild it completely for yourself. Some of them are just kind of nicely built as opposed to others. Like I took the Kim theme, and you guys have probably seen me in some of my videos where things don't look quite right because I started with that theme and then I built a bunch of content off of there, right? But there's some things that I don't particularly love, like if you're building the design on the website and you want to go to, you want to modify something on the website, it's just a bit of a pain in the butt in some areas. So, for example, like the blog post is different than a blog, which is fine, right? But there's some things that probably should be like locked, and it doesn't really matter how, what page you're looking at it on should be the same, right? So for example, this block right here where it has my name, the LinkedIn expert, which I need to change that, my personal blog, right? And this is all the topics that I do cover. And oh, look, would you look at that? My newest blog here, how to do Kajabi SEO. But the interesting part is like this changed on every single, like on each one. I had to actually go and rebuild it on each one. This is something that I would normally see on a website builder that would be a static piece of content, and you can edit it throughout all of the different pages, but it would only be one variation. But if I went into a blog, let's just say, it would actually change what it said there, which was kind of disheartening. I had to redo things over and over and over again, which was really not fun, right? So you have the blog search and it shows it right there, the post, right? And some of these were pink or better yet, that purple color. And then you have your blog search, right? And this was another kind of like quirky little thing, because now my headshot's no longer there, and that's fine. But these are all here, but these are still purple, right? Like, this is weird. That shouldn't be, right? It should just be one static piece of content on there, or you should have the ability to add it as a static piece of content, and one change changes it across all the other pages. So that's probably one of my biggest gripes with Kajabi. I know it sounds kind of petty, but at my agency and myself, we've built about 150 websites. This is not a problem on any other platform but Kajabi. But some of the things I do like it is a very simple website builder. The ability to customize is extremely high, which I do like. Now, when I say extremely high, there are some limitations, right? There has to be. It's definitely not as open to use as Wix or WordPress. I would definitely say it's probably more of a Squarespace-esque, where it's not so much drag and drop, but you do have to add areas in, and you can't just throw things on the side. Or if I wanted to turn this button sideways in Wix, I could, and you can't do that. Would I? No, but you could do that, and that's just one example. There's so many things that you can't, like if I wanted this at a slight tilt here, and I wanted to go this way. Now, why would you want that? I don't quite know, but maybe you're an artsy type person, or maybe your whole course is teaching people to think outside the box, right? Maybe you want something a little more obscure. So that's probably one of the few areas that I would say, like, Kajabi definitely falls short on the website development side. But other than that, I mean, it is pretty simple, right? This is me, what I do, get on my newsletter. You should definitely go check out that newsletter, harrisonbarron.com, shameless plug. And then like the Powered by Kajabi branding, that's there specifically if you go buy Kajabi, or you go click that link and you get the 14-day free trial and you spend money, it helps out the channel, right? That's literally what it does. But it is pretty interesting. I mean, it's not a bad program. Now, this is kind of what your products would look like. So I don't really use pipelines anymore, but you could see like 3,905 visitors, 934 visitors, and then like you could just click a pipeline. So it has pre-built pipelines, or you could build a blank one, which is really cool. It is very nice to be able to have a prefab type structure. And the cool part about the blank one is it's just going to be a blank page, and you just create your own pipeline after that, right? You have Zoom webinars, you have sample sales page, you have a free offer value offer. That's what OVO stands for, right? Sales, OVO, freebie. And then you have the legacy pipelines, which is free report, promotional offer, sales page. I mean, they're there, right? It just depends on how you decide to use them. It is pretty cool in that regard. But it's good, right? It's really good for the beginner, right? The person who's new to this whole thing, this is like extremely good for. It just makes your life a lot easier. I wish they had a couple more pipelines pre-built, right? Or you could submit them, and maybe there's a pool of people that are producing pipelines. That would be really cool. But I mean, other than that, it's really not that bad. It is pretty useful. And if you click it, you'll see like opt-in, they get 8 emails, and then they get brought to a sales page and then a checkout, right? So that's pretty useful. But the only thing is like that I do have a gripe with is like you could pick your offer on what you want to sell, right? So if I wanted to sell my new let's just say my new Kajabi SEO course, right, for $97. It will create all of this, right, which is great. I'm super happy about this. But if I already made the landing page in the page area, you can't just bring it in, which is probably one of my other gripes with it. it normally wouldn't be that difficult, but the pipelines, you have to actually build it in the pipeline, which I'm not a fan of. On top of that, you can't A/B test anything on Kajabi. The ability to A/B test is rather low, and that is something that is, for somebody that's built so many websites, it's a little disheartening, right, to not be able to do that. But you can see in here, you can go in, you could change, you have your opt-ins, right? You can add another automation. You have this series of 8 emails, and then you have your offer checkout, and then your Kajabi sequence, right? But there's no real way to just swap that page out, right? You'd have a reorder, you'd have a edit code, edit details, but that's it. That's the whole thing. There's no way to just bring in a sales page that you've already made. Maybe you're using it on multiple different platforms. So that's cool, right? And then it just shows you what the sales page looks like, so you can do an overview of what it's going to look like. Now, obviously, this is not going to have anything filled in because obviously there's nothing here, right? But these are just things that I don't particularly love. It's kind of clunky. It's cool that they laid it out, but the fact that I can't swap in and swap out a sales page is annoying, to say the least, right? That's just one of my gripes with it. But the automations are pretty cool. Once again, a little clunky for my taste, but honestly, they're not bad, right? If you wanted to go in here, you can edit the automations, right? When a form is submitted for Kajabi SEO training, then subscribe them to an email sequence, and then the Kajabi SEO training email sequence is the one that I want them to be added to. And you could go through and you can make 100 automations if you want. And the cool part is too, is if you already have an email, right, you can build that into an automation, or if you have a landing page, you can set up an automation after a form is submitted. So that I will give them a benefit to. That is something that I do value, and they make it really, really, really simple for it. And once again, you have the website builder, right? It's nothing too crazy. Those are probably my biggest gripes with all of it. Your settings are pretty standard. You have your site details, your blog settings, payment integrations, domain fields, marketing settings. I mean, they're all here. They're good. They're nothing over the top, but I do really like the fact that you can control users, you can control your admin, you can go in and you could build essentially whatever you want, right? It's really a great platform for it's a really great platform. That's the best way to put it. It's just great. It's nothing that's going to blow your socks off. It is just so nice to be able to have everything all together in one spot. But if you're really, really tech savvy, I'm about to show you guys why you guys might want to use a variety of other different programs. So now that you've kind of got my feel on it, I mean, it's totally up to you. If you're a newbie, this is the easiest thing in the world. But it does have a massive cost as far as barriers to entry. There are other cheaper alternatives to it. So, right, their cheapest package is $150. Now, you will have to use a variety of other platforms, and those platforms will total up to not exactly $150 or their beginning price here, or it is $150 or an annual discount of $120 a month, but you will have to pay that, right? That's definitely, I would say, probably the biggest inhibitor is $150 a month. The other thing that they're trying to sell now is kind of like it's called Kajabi Access, where they sit you down with an expert and that person helps you build your business, right? Which is cool. I definitely am in favor of that because there's probably a lot of people that need it, but I think that they did do a really good job of making it super beginner friendly. Now, if you don't want to go the Kajabi route, these are probably the products that I would use. I shouldn't say probably. These are the products I would definitely recommend using otherwise. So Webflow, I just love Webflow. There's so much ability to customize in it. Now, I will tell you, and I do have a video on this, Webflow is probably towards the upper tier of using a software or better yet, using a website builder. It's not easy. It's definitely not beginner friendly by any stretch of the imagination. Now, if that scares you, go to Wix. Wix is super beginner friendly. If you need help, there's a hire an expert. They're reasonably cheap. When I say reasonably cheap, I mean between $300 and $2,000, where a Webflow expert is going to be probably about $2,500 to about $10,000. It's just a lot more work. Or you could call my agency, Growth Generators, and we'll build either one for you. Hint, hint. But it's cool. I mean, it really is. It really is a phenomenal platform. They're built on AWS. They have 3 million views in an hour. That's probably not entirely true, but hey, you never know. You can grow on here. The ability to do a lot of just do a lot on here is phenomenal. They have rockstar SEO. Kajabi's SEO is okay. You know, you have your on page, which is going to be your more technical stuff. Then you have your off page, which is going to be people linking back to you, and then you have the ongoing, which is content creation. I would say that Webflow probably makes it look a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, a little bit neater than you could probably get on Kajabi, but that's totally up to you. I don't think the Kajabi blog is anything bad. I mean, I could pull them both up really quickly. Because my personal website is built on Kajabi and my agency website is built on Webflow. And then you'll see in here, I mean, this is what they both look like. And you can customize this so much more. We're still working on this, but we have a lot of really, really good content on here. And it just looks so much cleaner. There's so much more that you could do. It doesn't scream super professional, right? And it's nothing that I did wrong. It's just the limitations of the software. I haven't seen anybody's blog that's really knocked my socks off, but it's decent. It's decent, right? It's good, right? I can't complain, right? If you go into a blog post, you can see what they look like, right? So this one pulls up this, and then it really kind of lays it out well, in my opinion. Versus the Kajabi SEO, it's not bad. I do enjoy it. I wish there was a little more customization as far as colors and the way things look, but I literally just posted this blog and that made this sweet little graphic here. But I mean, it's good, right? It's definitely legible. You can go through, you can read this. I like it, right? It's really nothing that I'm mad about. Now this, I just feel like it's so much cleaner. It's so much neater than it is on the Kajabi side. That's just a personal preference. It's totally up to you on there. Webflow will make it so if you change the heading on one, it'll change the heading on all of them, where on Kajabi you have to go in and change every single heading if you wanted to change it a different color. So that's probably one of my gripes. But the first thing is Webflow. If you don't like Webflow, I would definitely use Wix. It's a great platform. Now, I understand that many of the people watching this are probably going to be using WordPress. If you like WordPress, do not leave. Trust me. Stay on WordPress and use Kajabi for your course. The ability to use WordPress and design things and build things on WordPress, if you're very familiar with it, far exceeds the ability to create those same things on Kajabi. The blogging is better, the plugins are better. There's just a lot more on there if you like WordPress. If you're starting from scratch and if you're going to go the organic route, I would definitely say fire up a basic website and build traffic to that before you start a Kajabi account. But if you already have a following and traffic, then go right to Kajabi. That would be some of my best advice. For landing pages, you can't really build landing pages on Webflow. You can to some degree, but the nice part about swipe pages is you can do A/B tests. They have AMP pages, so they load literally instantaneously, which is cool. It's a better overall experience, right? You have landing page templates, features, performance. The pricing is really not that expensive, right? $30 a month. So if we think about it, right, Webflow is about $25 or $30 a month, or I think it's $24 a month. Then you have another $30 a month for this. You can get 20,000 visitors to the landing pages. You get unlimited landing pages. There's a little bit of limitation there. So you have A/B testing. You got to pay a little more money for that. But for the most part, I mean, analytics and conversion tracking, Zapier integrations, direct integrations. You can also sync this up with a email software, which is huge in my opinion. They also integrate with Upsplash for your images, e-commerce, Stripe checkouts, which is great too. So you can run your checkouts right through swipe pages. And I really think that is probably the biggest value. And if you buy annually, you save a massive amount of money. 40% as opposed to Kajabi's 20%. Not hating, just pointing it out. Then you have your email marketing, right? You have to use something for email marketing. Webflow and swipe pages do not allow for email marketing. They just don't have, it's just not what they offer. But you do have ActiveCampaign, which in my opinion is probably one of the best email marketing campaign softwares out there for the price, right? You have machine learning, server migration, you have emails, you have pages. I mean, it's a lot. Service and support, small business, and it's going to allow you to build out just like you see this, right? You'd be able to build out those sales and those kind of like workflows The price is really pretty competitive. So if you're starting out your business, you're talking about you're not going to have 500 contacts in the beginning. You're talking about $9 a month. Now, this is probably where the biggest difference comes in. If you're using or you're growing, right, this can get, maybe you get to, I don't know, 5,000 contacts. This then becomes a little bit more expensive, right? You get 5,000 contacts, but on the flip side of things, right, if you have 5,000 contacts and you're using this correctly, where you can A/B test emails, you can really see where the money's going for. I would probably recommend the professional, and even at the professional of $129 a month, there's a lot that you get out of it. Split automations can make you so much money. Now, you could start out at $9 and bump your way up over time. They do have a bit of a CRM feature as well, CRM with sales automation, right? Lead scoring, sync inbox with CRM, right? It's honestly, it's a pretty great price for for 500 contacts, and does it get better? I mean, it does get better. As time goes on, you're going to get more stuff with it. And I would tell anybody, if you're starting out and you want to bootstrap and build a website and build traffic to it, and then start to build email marketing campaigns, and then when you start to really get into offers, then you use swipe pages. Personally, I think that's probably it's way cheaper, right? Instead of spending $200 right up front, you can then take this method, which will really run you about $35 a month with active campaign until you hit 500 contacts. At the point you hit 500 contacts, you're probably going to start making money right away, right? That's you send out email campaigns, you build a swipe page for whatever product you're starting to offer, and you can go in there and sell that specific product. That I do like, but you do have to know some level of integration to make all of these work. This is definitely a bit more of the advanced route if you're that kind of tech savvy person. But at the end of the day, it's not going to cost you a lot of money up front, and you can always do this until you're ready and then jump over to Kajabi. Last but not least, you're going to have to go through Stripe for your payments. That's just it. There's really no way around it. I love Stripe. It's just a great platform to accept and get paid on. They make it super, super easy for it. And then last but not least, you're going to need a spot for your course, right? So you have Teachable, you have your pricing on here. Now, Teachable does have some of the features of all of the other areas, right? So you have basic, unlimited students, course product, course coaching product, member-only community, instant payouts, second 2-level admin, course creator training, custom domain support, coupon codes, drip course content, integrated email marketing. So is it going to be as good as ActiveCampaign? Probably not. I shouldn't even say probably. No, it's not going to be. That's because that's what they specialize in. But, I mean, for $30, if you wanted to start that up and just get your foundation going, you could do that. And I think that is probably money well spent. You're going to save a lot of money, and you're also going to be able to take what you learn from here and then maybe relate it to Kajabi down the road when you're ready to make that jump. And then last but not least, if you're an AppSumo person like myself, there are always apps that solve most of these problems. So there is, I don't want to say a comparable app to ActiveCampaign, but one just dropped. It's called In Charge. I did grab it. It was like $50 for your 5,000 contacts on here, and it was great. I bought it. It's a lifetime deal, and it does build out these beautiful workflows to get people to where they need to go. It integrates with a variety of different softwares. Now it's probably a bit more expensive, $0 to $2,000. You're talking about $50 or $60 for the premium, right? Is that amazing? I don't know. It seems like a great product so far, and it's probably only going to get better. But that's one of the risks of going on AppSumo. But you have to buy it when it's out. So I just pulled up, I put in here course hosting, and I put in sold out because I know that one of these, they've had several recently, but the more recent one is GuruKen. So GuruKen is a online course selling platform. It has a mobile first version here, and typically when programs are on AppSumo, they're usually in the startup phase or the early phase of it. So this is definitely one that I would say you could probably go. I mean, now it's closed, but you would be able to go check this out for $79, unlimited active students, 125 gigs of bandwidth, 1,000 marketing emails per month. Even at the most expensive tier that they had, right, of $237, when you're pretty much maxing out, I mean, for $237, that basically covers all of Kajabi, right? So definitely something to take into consideration. There's always stuff on here. And then you have your brilliant directories this is just another AppSumo product on here that you could use. right? It's $299 if you really want all of that good stuff in there. So at the end of the day, what's best for you? I don't quite know. I love Kajabi. I love that I'm on it. If I was to go back and do it all over again, I would have started a website. I would have built a bunch of traffic up to it while I worked at my main job. And then when I got busy enough, I would then go and start a Kajabi website where then I could say, hey, here's the course. I'd leave my existing website, my existing website on either WordPress or Webflow, and then use Kajabi as a filler for everything else afterwards. And the only reason why this really sparked my interest is because a lot of people on Kajabi use auxiliary applications, so Active Campaign, right? Maybe it's HubSpot. There is, Swipe Pages or Lead Pages because they don't like the landing page builder in Kajabi. So that's kind of, I don't want to say my gripe or beef with Kajabi. There's some things that I really like. There's some things I don't really like. Overall, once again, if you have an audience and you just need a place to sell and make money on, Kajabi is the best, right? You are going to make so much money. It has it all built in, right? But if you're starting out and you don't either really know what you're going to do, or you don't have everything kind of dialed in just yet, I would much prefer, or I'd much more recommend going with a Webflow or a Wix and starting there. And even if you don't use anything else, right? You just build up a ton of traffic to Webflow and you just capture all those email addresses in a document, right? And maybe you pay an extra $9 for your active campaign for your first 500 contacts. I mean, you're talking about like $35-40 a month versus $200, right? That's a huge difference in price. And then when you're ready to sell a product and you have this massive list, then go create the Kajabi website. And that is going to be the way that you make the most amount of money. You have the most success. If you go the organic route, you can go the paid route. I've seen plenty of people do it, 6-7-figure launches. Well, maybe not 7, but 6-figure launches, tons of money, ads, the whole flow of things. So I hope this video helps. I hope that I've enlightened you, but I would definitely just try to figure it out yourself. If you're not tech savvy, you're probably going to end up spending the money on Kajabi, right? Or just do what I recommend. I mean, start with a website builder, build that website. Doesn't matter if it's Wix, doesn't matter if it's Webflow, just don't use Squarespace. I'm just kidding. And then go from there, right? Build that traffic and then go into making those sales. So hope you guys found value in this. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, please leave them below. I'm always there to help. And other than that, I'll see you guys later. Bye.